Hi, I'm Leaky Love. I'm one of the leaders of the Women's March on Washington team here in Florida, and I'm here to help teach you how to become a marshal. I recently got wedded, and these are great tattoos, so I look like a badass, and you're going to be a badass out there too. But the point to remember about being a marshal is that your greatest value is that you're a peacekeeper, and the march planning group will make sure that the crowd knows that. They will direct the crowd to listen to you, and one of the first ways that the crowd will know to listen to you is that you're wearing this fancy orange and yellow vest. You can either get one from your march team, or you can order one online on Amazon, or you can find them at a local hardware store. Another thing that you might want or need is a small bullhorn. You can usually find these somewhere in the range of $12-15, and they take batteries. Just make sure you have batteries inside. And then you also need to make sure that you have water, because you're going to need it like everybody else for the march. I usually carry a small backpack with me that has water somewhere inside of it. So the key to marshalling is that self-care is everything, but also remembering that you're a part of a team, that you don't act alone, and that you're acting in order to make the march more peaceful. The first rule of marshalling is you'll need to learn the fancy chants, and we'll go over some of the chants later. But then the second rule after the fancy chants and leading the fancy chants is to figure out who your strongest marshals are. You want your strongest marshal, meaning the one with the most experience or the one that's most outspoken, and to be at the very front and at the very beginning. A marshal's job is also to make sure that stragglers, mostly the stragglers end up being people with children, or the elderly or disabled, are sandwiched in the crowd. So as a marshal, you should also be helping people stay linked. You should have people on the sidewalk or walking, if they're walking in the street, arm in arm, linked together. No less than 3 if you can, no more than, I would say, 7 or 8. Make sure that your march and your march plan is always going with the traffic. And so that way, when traffic comes up behind you as a marshal, it's your job to step out into the street if you need to and point the car around the traffic. So most of the marches that we're having in Florida are taking place along a sidewalk. If they spill out into the street, that's fine. Ask your people to try to get back on the sidewalk, but then direct the flow of traffic around you. If you can, put everybody in the marshal team on a group me so that they can talk to each other during the march by group me, so that the front person can tell the back person to slow down. You want to move at a super slow pace, and this is part of the marshal's job, is pacing. So sometimes you have runner marshals. You can have a designated runner marshal that's running back and forth so that they're communicating and helping people sort of stay together in one unit. Otherwise, marshals are very necessary if an aggressor situation comes around, meaning 1 or 2 like Trumpster opponent aggressors try to come into the crowd. If that happens, marshals should come together. And what you will do as a marshal is face the opponent, like the aggressor, for a very short amount of time, ask them to leave, and then turn your back to the aggressor and keep your people from acting out against the aggressor. So the easiest way to keep a march peaceful is to keep our side from engaging the aggressor, and that's a marshal's job. Don't ever do that alone. Make sure that you always call another marshal if you see an aggression action happening, or you call the police. One of the 2 things. There should be police flanking you. The police are usually fine to work with you, and they're happy to help you out when they can, if you can build a rapport with them and let them know that you're doing the best you can to diffuse situations. Other than that, you just want to make sure that you're keeping your eye on stragglers, keeping people together. The front is talking to the back, and the middle is really just keeping pace and working chants. So we're going to go over a few chants here. The only reason why I'm going over the chants is that we have the chants on a chant sheet, but I want to make sure people know that the marshals know what the rhythm of the chants are. So the first one is an anti-Trump chant that most of the rallies probably will not use, but I wanted to give you the rhythm of it anyway. And the chant is, no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. And most of your Marshall rally bullhorns, you have to talk right up in front of them like this. So it would be note. That's really weird. Well, anyway, it would be no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA, and then the crowd will begin to chant with you. The next one is, the people united will never be defeated, and then the crowd just chants it with you. The next one is, when women or Muslims or democracy, you fill in the blank there, are under attack, what do we do? And then the crowd says, stand up, fight back. So the marshal says, when women are under attack, what do we do? And then the crowd says, stand up, fight back. I'm going to actually ask the person who is holding the camera to pretend to be the crowd from here on. So the next one, I'll say, what does democracy look like? And the crowd says, this is what democracy looks like. So I'll say, what does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like.
Good. And the next one is also an anti-Trump one, and we may not want to use this in the Women's March solidarity rallies, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Racist, sexist, anti-gay, Donald Trump, go away. And then the crowd just does that over and over again. The next one is, hey, hey, ho, ho, sexism has got to go. And then you just fill it in with whatever you want. Racism has got to go. Bigotry has got to go. Like that. The next one is, 1, we are the people. 2, a little bit louder. 3, we want justice for our people. And you can also say, like, for Mike Brown, or for women, or for children, or whatever. The next one goes like this. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. And then, technically, the crowd says that. And the marshal goes, say what? And the crowd goes, ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. That's how that one goes. The next one is Latinx, undocumented one, and it's si se puede. It means yes we can, right? And it's just a chant that says si se puede over and over and over again. The next one, the women in the crowd chant, my body, my choice. And the men, or other gender non-conforming, not women identified, people in the crowd say, her body, her choice, right? So, my body, my choice.
Her body, her choice.
Good. Okay. The next one, in this one, the marshals do a little bit more work. Then the crowd sort of works with you, so it takes a little bit for the crowd to get this one. And it goes, hold up, we want freedom, freedom. All those racist politicians, we don't need them. And so, and it just goes over and over again. Hold up, we want freedom, freedom. All those racist politicians, we don't need them. And you could do sexist or whatever politicians you want in there. And then, of course, Black Lives Matter. And on the transgender issue, we have gender comes in more than 2. We are more than pink and blue. And then that over and over again. Gender comes in more than 2. We are more than pink and blue. And the final one is a union one. It's really old school, like from the 1950s. And it is a call and response, so that the marshal sings, everywhere we go, and the people sing,
everywhere we go.
People want to know.
People want to know.
Who we are.
Who we are.
So we tell them.
So we tell them.
We are the people.
We are the people.
The mighty, mighty people.
The mighty, mighty people. people.
And then you end saying, what do we want? And the crowd says, democracy. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
Democracy.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Democracy.
When do we want it?
Now.
And you can change this so that it says, what do we want? Freedom. When do we want it? Now. What do we want?
Freedom.
When do we want it?
Now.
Okay, so that was my quick and easy go over the chant list, how to be a marshal. Be sure that you move with confidence, that you remember that peace is our ultimate goal, and that you're not alone, that you exist in a collective, so that when and if there's an aggressor situation, that you always pay attention to the collective. Also, when there's stop signs or red lights, you tend to go through them. So the marshal, you do not stop the crowd for a stop sign or a red light. Is the marshal's job to keep the crowd shuffling through and then ward off all cars to make the traffic block at a stop sign or a red light. So your job is to keep the crowd moving, and that means past aggressors. Never engage the aggressor. Always turn your back on the aggressor and keep walking. Do the best you can to ignore them. And you'll have a lot of fun, and I think that you'll get a lot out of being able to scream and lead your people in an amazing historic march all around the state of Florida that's coming in conjunction with the National March on Washington. Thanks. Peace.